Now, let us see what are the different types of fertilization observed in nature. So, as we have learned that fertilization is the most crucial step of sexual reproduction. Fertilization can happen within the body of the organism or outside the body of an organism. So, based on the location of fertilization, external fertilization and internal fertilization. Let us have a look at it. In external fertilization, fertilization occurs in the external medium, that is outside the body of an organism. That is why it is called as external fertilization. In general, it takes place in water. Now coming to internal fertilization, it occurs inside the body of the organism, as the name implies. Now, where do you observe this external fertilization? In most of the aquatic organisms. In most of the terrestrial organisms, we find internal fertilization. Now, examples of external fertilization are amphibians and fishes and some types of invertebrates. External fertilization is seen mostly in amphibians and fish, whereas internal fertilization is seen in some fungi, reptiles, birds, mammals, bryophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. So, majority of the living organisms exhibit internal fertilization, whereas most of the aquatic animals exhibit external fertilization. Now, what are the features of external fertilization? For the external fertilization to happen, the male and the female gametes should be released at the same time to increase the chances of fertilization, right? It is otherwise said like this: those organisms that exhibit external fertilization have to show great synchrony. Great synchrony means at the same time they need to release the gametes. Great synchrony between the sexes, that means the male and female should be able to reach to sexual maturity at the same time, and they should be able to release the gametes at the same time in large numbers to enhance the chances of fertilization, right? Now, what happens here as a result of such release of large number of gametes into water? The offspring produced are also in large numbers, right? But for internal fertilization, it is not like that. They produce large number of sperms in internal fertilization. That means male gametes are produced in large numbers, but the female gametes are not produced like that. There is seen a significant reduction in the number of egg production is seen in the internal fertilization, right? So, those organisms that reproduce by internal fertilization, such organisms produce more number of male gametes when compared to that of the female gametes. Now, what is the disadvantage or the drawback of external fertilization? During external fertilization, because the gametes are released, both male and female are released into the external environment, the offspring that are produced, first thing, the chances of fertilization is little low, and to compensate this they are releasing large number of gametes, of course, and as a result large number of offspring are produced in fact, but these offspring are extremely vulnerable to predators. So, most of the offspring do not survive up to the adulthood. Why? Because during external fertilization, because the offspring is produced that is quite vulnerable to predators, and as a result, though large number of offspring are produced initially, they do not survive up to the adulthood. But when you talk about the internal fertilization, because internal fertilization is taking place within the body of the organism, the zygote is safely located within the body of the organism, the parental body. The zygote will be nurtured, and as a result, the rate at which the zygote develops into an embryo and the embryo develops into a new offspring is high. So, the chances of survival of the new offspring is quite high in internal fertilization, right?